This is the legendary beat-em-up series, and arguably the best of the genre. I've played quite a few beat-em-ups over the years. I always come back to these games. They're challenging but fun to play. Some people find beat-em-ups repetitive and boring, but these games are full of different environments, lots of moves, and several, let's just say, annoyances that fuel the rage. Join me as we take to the streets of rage. Axel, Adam, and Blaze are ex-cops turned vigilantes after Wood Oak City has been overrun by Mr. X's gang. They find the police and the justice system are corrupt, and they feel the only way to clean up the streets is take on Mr. X and fight their way to change. This is the basic storyline that flows throughout the series. Makes for a really good plot, not that it really needs it, but it drives the characters along. And I can imagine a movie kind of playing this up. And there are some rumors of a movie in the works. We'll see if it materializes. However, I've watched several fan-made videos on YouTube, and there's some really good ones. Most are quite amusing. I obviously approve of fan videos, and I say keep them coming. The games were all quite popular, with probably Streets of Rage 2 as the most popular of the series. The first was released in 1991, the latest in 2020, so it's been a long span, but there's been several fan remakes that were created, like Beats of Rage, and there's also rumored Streets of Rage 5 in the works, as well as a possible commercial film. I recently went through all the games and gathered some thoughts. I'll start with the first one, because that's where it all started with me. What immediately stands out in this one is the awesome soundtrack. Yurzo Kirisho lit up the Genesis sound chips, and I really like the Genesis sound for those dance tracks. You can see the description in the video about an 80s cover I created with the Genesis soundtracks. Definitely an S in my book. The background environments are really great. They capture the journey on the way to Mr. X. The characters are a little bit flat compared to the games of the time, but they're good. So the graphics to me are an A. The gameplay is good. There's not a ton of moves for the characters. However, they have a few tricks up their sleeve, like calling in the backup. I think the backup call with the rocket launcher is iconic and awesome. There are a lot of challenges in the game, and very subtle changes that in the moves make a big difference. And I think this is the hallmark of the series. It's not a matter of memorization, but of technique, which makes it fun to play. The most painful part is kind of near the end with the twins. This is very difficult with one player because they're constantly jumping around and kicking and biffing. However, I still give this one an A. Streets of Rage 2 brought with it major graphics updates with more detailed characters. We lost Adam, but we gained Max and Skate, which is Adam's little brother, although I frequently refer to him as Little the Kid. The characters have a lot more moves, and each of them have distinctive moves, which all have kind of pros and cons. I generally like Axel the best with his Blitz move, Tiger Claw, or Breath the Paw. It's a bit muffled, but that's okay as long as it does the damage. I also like playing Skate for his speed and Max for his slide kick, which is deadly. And I think Blaze is a good second player option, because she adds some good jump kicks. There are a lot of great environments from the streets to the park, and a few strange ones like the carnival and the pirate ship. The enemies are revamped, and they all have new moves as well. They have kind of well animation and they're very distinctive. Like the Glacias, they're always trying to shiv you with a knife, and the Ys kind of slide and throw. The game's got a mix of different fighting styles, and these combinations can be quite nasty when they put different ones together. Compared to Double Dragon, that can only have 2 enemies at the screen at the same time, so it can have 6 or more, so it can really ramp it up. Streets 2 was a step up in all ways around. It's fun, it's challenging, but not overly so. The soundtrack is awesome like before. It's all A's here. This game is faster paced, and the characters and enemies move faster. There's a new moves and specials that can be used without life when the OK bar is full. The graphics are different, they're a little more detailed in some cases, and there's a new character, Dr. Zan, a cyborg. It's got long reach. Dr. Zan's my favorite to play because he has good throws and splits, kind of a good blitz move. Also, there's two secret characters, Shiva and Rue, which can get more activated. This game's more complex with a detailed storyline. There's multiple endings depending on if you save the Chief in time or Mr. X's robot in time. This game's difficult and there are several environments with hazards. Plus there's tons of enemies and long levels. It requires much more focus and dedication to make it through. The last boss with the timer was very tricky and hard to hit. I had to try many times to get that with constant spamming of specials to make it through. Overall, the music's more industrial, but it's fitting for the tone of the game, which is more about robots. And I give it all A's, except for gameplay, which is a B. While I like a lot of the moves and some of the levels, but some of the bosses are just tedious, and this one's just harder to pick up and play. After a long break, we finally got an official sequel. Was it worth the wait? Definitely. This one has a comic book style, kind of art style. I wasn't sure about it at first, but really like it, and it works well. Plus there's a retro mode as well to give you those nice scan lines and pixels. This is one of my favorites, and the reasons why are because of the different play modes and the fact it can take a combination of characters from the past and from the new game, and all in the same game. You can just play it all together. If you ever thought, if I just had Axel from Streets of Rage 2, I'd wipe him out. Well, you can do it in this game. Same moves, same speed, same everything. It's awesome. Plus, they brought back the legends, Year Zero and Motohiro, for a few new music tracks. But all the music's great in the game. They got really great music everywhere. The characters are interesting, and there's many characters that can be unlocked with new moves to discover. And I really like Mr. X's Nightmare. It's a kind of AKA survival mode. And this is one you get one life, but you get upgrades in multiple environments. Really fun to play. There's new moves to find and discover and earn for the characters. There's a lot of game here, and if you're a fan of the other ones, this one won't disappoint. It's a solid A for everything, plus an S for that excellent gameplay. For me, this is the king of the beat-em-ups genre. All games are fun to play. At times they're frustrating, but it keeps you coming back to the streets to take out that rage on the punks. There's a lot of details I didn't discover here, and there's a lot more things to discover. I could go on for a long time. However, I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts on the series in the comments below.